I'm Liz.
And I'm Rin.
And there's nothing going on here. And
welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
So we thought it'd be a fun idea for Valentine's Day to rate slasher films.
Yep.
Because what else are you supposed to do on Valentine's Day but rate slasher films?
Yep.
So we made a list, and then we divvied them up.
Mm-hmm.
She ended up getting all the ones that I had already seen.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a whole list of ones that I had never seen before.
Yeah. Because I haven't seen, any of them. Because I hear, it's supposed to be scary, and I'm like, no.
And then I watch them in my sleep, so it's fine.
Yeah, yep. So
it'll be fine.
Yeah, it was a great experience. It was not as bad as I thought it was going to be in the sense of it was scary.
You watched them during the day, though, didn't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I watched them by myself in a basement at night.
I Know What You Did Last Summer, though.
Oh.
I watched that one at night.
That one's so good. Okay.
Yeah. Anyways, don't jump the gun. We gotta wait.
We're gonna rank them, tell what our ranking is, and then we can go through and talk about each of them.
Because there are things I need to talk about.
Okay. So the 6 movies that I watched were Hell Night, Prom Night, Candyman, Halloween, The Intruder, and Sleepaway Camp. My ranking from the best movie to the worst movie is Hell Night, Candyman, Sleepaway Camp, Intruder, Prom Night, Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I'll explain why in a minute.
Yep. And then I had to watch Friday 13th, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, My Bloody Valentine, I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Scream. And my ranking is coming in at number 1 is Scream. I ranked that 100 out of 10.
No,
That's
yeah,
what
absolutely.
I've got. And then I have I Know What You Did Last Summer at a 9 out of 10. I have my reasons for that, but it's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Texas Chainsaw Massacre at 8 out of 10. My Bloody Valentine, 7 out of 10. And then Friday the 13th, negative 100 out of 10.
I get you.
Yeah.
I don't need to know your reasoning for any of them but My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
So which one do you want to talk about first? My Bloody Valentine, since that one is my favorite movie on the planet.
No, I think we should wait till later to talk about that one to make you suffer.
So Sleepaway Camp. Okay, it was bad quality. Because this is early in the 80s. It's one of the first slasher films ever made. Mm-hmm. It didn't have much of a storyline until the end. And then it was, so psychologically, bizarre. And you're like, what the fuck just happened? What just happened here? I don't know if I should spoil it or not.
Spoil it. There's going to be so many spoilers in this video.
Yeah.
We'll just say that right now.
Spoilers.
If you haven't seen these and you're like, I don't want to know about
Go watch all of the movies and then
hear our opinions.
Yeah. The movie opens up with this adult man. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's one of the kids' father. Mm-hmm. And these 2 little kids on a boat.
Yep.
Like a little sailboat type wakeboard thingy. Mm-hmm. And they're playing in the water, and another man comes out of the house and goes, hey, it's time to eat. And so they're trying to get him out of the water, and this boat with high school students comes crashing into him. Not all of them.
Oh, okay. Not all of them.
Not all of them. One of them survives.
Mm-hmm.
And then it flashes forward 8 years later, and they're going to, it's these 2 kids. Yeah. They're cousins. I can't remember their names. It's Richie and Jeanette or something crazy like that. I can't remember their names.
Right.
But they're going to sleepaway camp. Mm-hmm. And then all the kids start dying. And so the owner of the thing is like, why are these kids dying? It looks bad for business. And then he tries to kill one kid. And yeah, because he thinks that this kid one, but it's not that kid. He tried, but he's the only survivor. Richie, the main character.
But he says, people are dying, and I'm going to solve murder with murder. If I just get rid of the murderer.
He thinks that this Richie kid is the murderer. Mm-hmm. And then when his death comes up, it's like, it's not supposed to be you. And then he gets an arrow through the neck. It's the whole thing.
Okay.
I'm going to pull it up on YouTube. I can't show it here. Mm-hmm. But I got to show you the end clip of it.
Judy!
Oh, her name's
Ricky! Paul, you guys out here?
Judy and Ricky.
something? What? Listen. It sounds like singing. Damn it. It's coming from over here.
It's Angela. Angela, are you all right?
Angela! Are you okay?
Okay.
Angela, can you hear me?
His parents died. In the boating accident.
You're going to enjoy living with us so much. Yes, I know you are. As a welcome home present, I bought you such wonderful new clothes. I just hope that Richard doesn't get jealous that I didn't get him anything. Ah, but then he is such a dear. I'm sure that he won't mind. You see, I've always wanted a little girl. But of course, when my husband left... Oh, well, that's all water under the bridge, as I always say. Water under the bridge. But it certainly will be a nice little surprise when Richard comes home to find a little girl in the house. Yes, I've always dreamed of a little girl just like you. I mean, we already have a boy, so another one simply would not do. Oh, no, absolutely not. A little girl would be so much nicer, don't you think so, Angela? Angela. Such a lovely name. Why, I believe it means angel. Why, yes, I'm sure it does. I know you're going to like that name. Won't you, Peter?
How can it be? She's a boy.
And then the movie just ends. So if you didn't catch that, Peter's sister and dad died. And then Peter's aunt, whose husband left, took Peter in and made Peter Angela.
Right.
So not only did this child see their parent die, but other psychological stuff that they imply is that the dad and his sister's husband had a relationship, and
Okay.
that's what was going on at that lake.
Okay.
And that the kids were also experimenting with each other at the lake cabin because they watched their dad and their uncle. So then they decided to.
The last frame of like this uncomfortable long of just
a literal child
whatever that is.
not wearing any clothes,
Yeah.
just making demon noises.
Yeah.
That one was better than some of the other shows. That one's number 3.
Okay.
So if you think of that in quality, and I'm judging it more on like the content itself, not just like, oh, it's a good movie.
Right.
Like I dissected the crap out of this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, this one is genuinely like, because it gives you that unexpected plot twist and has some weird content where you're like, huh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
This
was
is a fun
something.
way to end that, right?
That was something. That was
Oh
really
my
something.
God.
Yeah. How do I even?
Top that?
Yeah. I mean, I should just work my way up with the bottom and then go up.
Okay.
So because I just really want to talk about Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I was not expecting this to be the literal worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
I haven't seen Halloween.
I've seen many very bad movies.
Right.
This, like, they're up here still, and this is like,
Yeah, no,
keeps
it's
going.
gone. It's not a good movie.
I was rooting for the killer for most of the movie.
Yep.
After about 50 minutes, it was to the point where I had to, like, force myself to watch it in the first place. Like, I was really tempted to just be like, I'm just gonna pretend that I saw it. And not have to watch this anymore. But I watched it because...
I like the ending. That's my favorite part. The ending. Like,
Okay.
I will sit through the whole movie just to watch my favorite part. at the
Really?
end.
Is it the grabbing from the boat kind of thing?
Where they're out,
That
they
was the
finally
only part that got me.
Right? They finally think that they're home free, and then all of a sudden just...
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yep,
it's
that's
like...
my favorite part.
That's the only part part that got me just because it was the straight jump scare kind of thing. Like, all of a sudden there was a loud noise in my headset, so I was like, whoa, okay, anyways. But I just, like, the acting wasn't good. It was so boring. There's so many times where they're just not doing anything. There's so many times where it's got that classic, like, they're just standing there staring at the killer screaming instead of literally walking right around them. Because they could have just walked right around them and been fine, or did literally anything to fight back whatsoever, and instead they're like, ah, for like 10 minutes straight. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Do something.
And it's, oh my gosh, it was just so aggravating.
Right.
And the fact that, like, the absolute worst actress in the film was the one that made it to the end. One of my first notes, because I was sitting there in Word typing. I was typing away for this movie because I just had so many thoughts. And the first note that I had in there was like, the girl that plays Alice is really bad. And then she's the one that survives. And literally at the end, I'm just like, just get her. Just get her so she's out of this freaking movie. And then she's the one that survives. And it was like, are you kidding me? There was no emotional connection to any character, really. There was no like, oh, I'm sad that you died.
The ones that you were connected to were instant.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right away at the beginning.
I mean, like, Kevin Bacon's in there. So I was like, heck yeah, Kevin Bacon. Like, that's going to be cool. I'm emotionally connected just because it's the actor and, like, I know him already and I figured it would be a good performance. And then he's just dead.
Yeah.
So, and there were so many things that they could have done. Like, there was this little detail where Kevin Bacon's girlfriend was sitting there like, I have this dream that it's a thunderstorm or, like, a rainstorm, and then it starts raining blood on me. And I put in a note, I was like, I hope that blood, like, drips on her later. Because that would have been...
I don't remember.
No, he gets a single drop on his forehead.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, that was something that could have happened. That would have been a nice, detail to add in there.
Right.
Such a missed opportunity. And there were tons of those in this.
Yeah.
And there's just so many disappointments in this movie.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
The first time I watched it, I was like 13 or 14, and I was at a birthday party, and we were sitting there talking like you do, and then we're like, again? And then we're like, oh, somebody's getting murdered again?
Yeah.
Like, we sat there, and it felt like 3 years we were watching this movie, and then every time we looked, the same thing was happening.
Yeah.
And we're like...
Well, it's like, I kind of was getting distracted by things. Like, I was doing other stuff while listening to this movie, and I would be like, oh, nothing's happening. I'm just going to go back. Oh, I heard a scream. Oh, cool, they're dead. Anyways.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and so, like, that was the experience for the whole second half of the movie. Was just being like, they looked exactly the same the last time the person was killed. So, like, this, it's like, whatever. There's nothing new happening. There's nothing there's no, like, plot development. It's just whatever.
It's happening.
Yeah, it's just things happening. So, yeah, I was not a fan. I was kind of heckling it the whole time. My husband was, like, sitting behind me, and I was like, why? Why is this happening?
No, that was literally me the last time I watched that. I was like, why? I don't like the mother being put in there randomly. Like, it was supposed to be, it was a big plot twist when the movie first came out.
Yep.
But, like, it doesn't add to it.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It's just so disappointing.
Yeah. And I just, what was some other things? Also, I would have to, I guess, do my research and make sure I didn't see something wrong, but I'm pretty sure they straight up killed a snake in that film.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
absolutely.
I was like, that animal just died.
For real.
And
Yeah,
I was
they
like,
did.
and then there was, like, blatant racism, and I was like,
oh, yeah. Well, but it was also the 80s.
I know that it was the time, but it still, like, happened. That was the first time that I paused it, and I went, what did I just watch?
Yeah.
Like, I know that was the normal thing, but it's still, like, that shouldn't
right, it's
be
jarring
in
to
there.
hear that.
It's like, why
do that?
Like, there's so many things that you could have done, and you chose to do that specifically.
Yep.
Cool. Okay. That's fine.
That's a whole other topic we could talk about, but we're not going to.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my thoughts on Friday the 13th, is just that, like, that's always one of the ones that I've heard that's just on this big pedestal, and it's such a big thing. It's like, Jason is one of the big serial killer guys.
It's because of the franchise, and I haven't seen the rest of the franchise.
I don't think I want to.
I want to just to say I've seen them all.
I like, the first movie was enough to be like, even if these movies are really good, like, if it just keeps getting better, I don't care. That first movie was so bad that I'm not going to waste my time watching the rest of them.
Here's the thing, is, you have all your cliche tropes
Mhm.
through all the other ones.
Yeah.
But you can still root for Jason the whole time.
Yeah.
And who doesn't want to root for Jason the whole
Yeah.
time? Especially if it's a bunch of unlikable characters.
Right. Yeah.
So that makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Yeah. But yeah, that's my Friday the 13th spiel. I honestly think that the lady that plays Mrs. Voorhees was one of the best
Oh, absolutely.
actresses. Like, she was actually good.
Kevin Bacon was good too,
Yeah,
but he
but-
was in it for so little.
I know, exactly. And so, like, he's good.
There was another
she was
girl, one of the girls that was in it.
Mhm.
She was really good, and I really liked her, and I really wanted her to survive.
Yeah.
But she did not.
Was it the one with, like, the longer blonde hair?
I think so, but
she
I can't
was,
remember.
because there was, like, Kevin Bacon's girlfriend that had, like, brown shorter hair.
Right, and I don't.
She was, like, okay. She
Right.
wasn't great. She wasn't the worst one in the show.
The
but, like,
worst one in the show was the final girl.
Yeah, Alice. I remember her name pretty much only because I was so,
I don't
like,
remember
pleased.
any of their names.
Yeah. I
I didn't
think-
even remember her name was Alice.
Yeah, I just remembered because I typed it so much of, like, Alice is doing something stupid again. Alice is being, like, getting on my nerves again. So, like, I remember Alice because I wanted her to just get out quick.
Right.
And then she was the last one. I was like, why?
But she still got.
Why?
Well, not really though,
Mm-mm.
because she wakes up in the
She's
hospital.
in the hospital, yeah. And then the last frame of her, like, then he's still out there. And then she just stares. And I'm like,
Yeah, I don't.
why are you
I
staring?
will
at
get
my
to that
soul?
with Hell Night.
Okay.
Because, like, I don't understand why the old movies did that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, with that one.
The weird stare off
It
thing.
stared off, and then it froze, and then the screen turned color,
Mm-hmm.
and then the credits came up.
Yeah.
And that was like a full 30
That was like a
seconds.
thing. Yeah.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
Why did we need a full 30 seconds of nothing?
Just like,
Don't
and
do
that's
it
the end of the
for me.
movie. That's just. Then he's still out there. That's the end of the movie. Like, how uncomfortable is that? Like, I feel like they're staring into my soul, and I'm like,
Yeah. I
that's the
know.
freakiest part of that entire movie is her just sitting there, and it's just right here. Like, that's all you
Yeah,
see is just.
uh-huh.
I was like waiting for her like eye to drift or something, you know, like her start going.
Lazy eye.
Yeah, she starts going cross-eyed or something because she's just staring in one spot for so long.
So, Halloween
Mm-hmm.
is the worst movie to ever been existed.
No, Friday.
No. No. The girl got stuck in a window when she tried to do her laundry. Okay?
What? Okay.
Michael Myers was outside of the window
Mhm.
watching her.
Mhm.
And she's like, the door's locked.
Mhm.
I'll go out the window. Like,
Towards him?
yeah.
What?
Okay, so I'll start out with my biggest concern.
Mhm.
People say Michael Myers
Mhm.
is one of the most intimidating killers.
Mhm.
And that Laurie is one of the most, like, protagonist, dream worship
Yeah.
girls. All she did was run from him and scream.
Mhm. Is he one of the ones that just walks at his victims?
Yeah.
And he still somehow gets them because they're running for their lives, but they're like tripping and everything, and he's just walking.
Yeah, he walks and then it flashes and he's there. And I forgot we talked about this a little bit already.
Mhm.
Because I was so angry
Yeah.
with it. It's POV camera.
Right.
And you see a kid go and get a knife. And then you see him pick up a mask and put the mask on.
Yep.
And a boy leaves the house. So it's the boyfriend.
Right.
And he walks into the sister's room. And the sister, who's naked, mind you.
Of course.
She's naked.
Uh-huh.
And she goes, Michael, no. And then she gets stabbed. And then she goes, ah.
I hate it.
And then
I hate it.
she just lays there like this.
Mhm.
It's just like a 30-second clip of her just naked and covered in blood on the floor. And then it's like 6 years later. Well, no, actually, then Michael walks out of the house with the knife, and Mom and Dad come in and they go, Michael. and then it zooms out. The kid takes off the mask and it zooms out, and it's just the kid standing there with the knife, and then the parents are just like staring at him. And then it's 6 years later.
So wait, is it supposed to be like he's a kid and he just
Yeah,
killed-
and that's his first kill.
Okay, it's like is
It's
that
his
his sister? Okay,
Yeah,
so he kills
his
his sister.
He kills his sister.
Okay.
His parents send him to the hospital.
Mhm.
You find that out very shortly after
Right.
the movie starts.
Okay.
Actually, no, that's literally the next scene. There's a nurse driving the doctor to the hospital that Michael's now being kept at. And it's storming. This psychotic storm, mind you.
Okay.
Like, pouring, you can't see through the windshield, and this nurse is
so
like...
an everyday in Georgia kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, she's white-knuckling it, and she's smoking her cigarette, and she doesn't even finish the cigarette she has before she lights a new one. And they pull up to the hospital, and she goes, since when do they let the inmates wander around? It's stormy.
Yeah.
Like, how is that not something's wrong.
Yeah.
All of these patients are outside in a storm. No, when do they let the patients wander?
Oh, that's so good for them. Look at them. Hi.
And then the doctor goes, pull up to the front door. Okay, they don't even make it to the front door of the building before Michael attacks them.
Oh.
And then he kicks the doctor down the street, and I think he kills the nurse, and then drives off. Michael doesn't know how to drive yet. He's been in a hospital for the last 6 years.
Since he was a child, yeah.
Uh-huh. But he drove off.
Oh,
that
good
man.
for him.
No, that's even a comment somebody makes, because then the doctor's like, he's going to the town that he's from. Like, he's gonna go there. He's gonna go there. He's gonna kill people. And the detective or whatever who's supposed to go and like search for the patient's like, but he doesn't know how to drive. And then the doctor goes, well, he drove pretty good last night. Somebody had to have taught him.
Yep.
But then then it flashes to the school, and you're with Lori and her friends, and they're talking about the school dance, and they're walking. I think they might go into the school, and they're walking through the school, and Lori's babysitting the next door neighbor kid. They drop a key off at Michael's old house, and somebody's watching them through the window. It's Michael, but we don't know that.
But we know that.
Like, audience knows that.
Yeah.
Movie people don't know that. Then they walk to school talking about the house and the blah, 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 blah. And then they go to school. And then school's out, and Michael's outside the school watching the little boy get bullied. And then the little boy walks by Michael going... And keeps walking down the street. And then we follow Lori and her friends who are walking home from school now. So we watched them walk to school.
Right.
Now we're watching them walk home from school.
Right.
And then Lori feels like she's being watched. And then Michael drives by them in a car. And she goes, that's the guy I saw earlier stalking me. And then her friend yells something at him. He stops the car. And then a little while later they see him watching them from behind the hedge. And then they show time pass. Like, they don't show it. They, like, insinuate that it's been, like, a couple hours. And then Lori has a pumpkin in her hand and a bag. And she's walking down the street. And she waits on the street corner for her friend to pick her up in the car. And her friend picks her up in the car. And her friend's dad is a police officer. And then they talk to her dad for a little bit. Because somebody just stole from one of the hardware stores, you know, a knife and a rope. It was just some kids pulling a Halloween prank. They got a knife, a rope, and a Halloween mask. Just a prank. Then they go to the houses to babysit their respective kids.
Yeah.
So Lori and her kid are on this side, and the friend and her kid are on this side.
Right.
And then at some point, the girl's, you know, she spills butter on her clothes, so she goes to wash her clothes. And then gets stuck in a window, and then the little girl has to come outside and help her get out from the window. And then they go back inside, and she takes the little girl across the street to go hang out with Lori. And then she goes to hook up with her boyfriend, but she never makes it to her boyfriend because Michael's at her house. And then the other friend comes to hook up at that person's house. So they're hoping the kids go to bed early so they can hook up in the house. Well, the kid's over at Lori's with Lori, so they hook up in the house, but Michael's in the house, and Michael's watching them make out. And they don't notice that there's a man watching them make out.
Is it, like, very obvious he's just standing there in front of them?
Like, he's like this, and they're on the couch. And you're like, how do you
You have no awareness of your surroundings at all.
Later, they're having fun in the bed, and Michael's just standing there watching them do it. And I'm like... I literally was like, how do you not feel somebody staring at you? But then those two end up, and then And then Lori goes over there because she's like, oh, she should be calling me by now. She was supposed to call me when she was going to pick up her kid.
Mm-hmm.
And so Lori goes over there and sees all of her friends dead. And then gets chased out of the house by Michael.
Mm-hmm.
And then, instead of going to a different house, she goes back to the house where the children are. The children are asleep, locked in the house, safe and sound.
Mm-hmm.
She wakes the kids up. So now Michael knows the kids are in the house.
Yep.
And then has the kid unlock the door, and that gives Michael time to get in through the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then she stabs him with the sewing needle, and then she's like, I killed him. No, you didn't.
With the sewing needle?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. A grown man with a sewing needle.
Yep.
Not
Where?
gonna
Was it like in the heart at least?
No.
Or just
It
neck?
was just like a little in the neck.
Okay.
Like he literally just went. But she gets upstairs and the kids are like, was that the boogeyman? And she's like, no, I killed him. It's all safe now. And then they're like, he's right behind you. And she's like, get in the closet. Get in the closet and lock the doors. She puts the kids in the closet as if Michael is not right behind her.
Yeah.
Literally, he could go like this to her. That is how close he is.
Yeah.
She puts these kids in the closet and then goes into the room across the hall from them, opens the door, and then hides in the closet. And then Michael comes in and starts breaking the closet down, so she takes a wire hanger and stabs him in the eye. But not enough for it to stick into his eye. Literally just boop, and falls out. And he down, debilitated on the ground.
I'm picturing the Life Alert commercial of the lady just like falling.
It's a little bit like that. And then she gets out and she goes, I saved you kids, I saved you, he's gone, he's gone, he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, you guys go, run across the street, tell these people to call the cops. It's the whole thing. And then the detective and the doctor or whatever, his name, whoever he is, who's been with the friend's dad this whole time, scouting out Michael's house. Because Michael's gonna come back to his house.
Right, yeah. He did
he
that,
knew
definitely.
he knew he was gonna be killing people. So he scouted out his house instead of scouting out the town.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So smart.
But the doctor rolls up on the house as the two kids take off running down the street. So he walks in the house, sees Lori, doesn't say anything. Michael comes up behind her, pops him a good one. He falls out the window, off the balcony, crashed on the ground. He tells Lori it's all over now. And then looks over the balcony and Michael is gone. And that's pretty much how the movie ends.
Wow.
She's the greatest protagonist ever, though.
Oh, so
She
good.
just runs around and screams and gets stabbed a bunch and then pokes him a couple times.
Yep.
Literally pokes him.
Yep.
Yeah. So, talk about Scream next. I think that's fitting because, and I know this is Kevin Williamson's goal. His goal was to mimic it and then plot twist it so that she wasn't the final girl. So, Drew Barrymore's part in Scream is identical to Laurie's first interaction with Michael.
Okay, so that's supposed to be a mirror kind of thing. Yep.
And what he did is because Jamie Lee Curtis was such a, I don't know if she was really popular, but she was like the notable actress.
Right.
And so the direction in which she runs and how she runs and how she falls, completely identical to how Drew Barrymore does.
Right.
But the difference is Kevin Williamson didn't want that popular starlet to survive.
Yeah.
He wanted to plot twist it and throw everyone for a loop.
Which was so good.
It was so good.
It Scream. I love Scream. I absolutely I'm a huge fan now. I love it. I hate that it took me so long to watch this movie because I was too scared and chicken to watch it this whole time, and then I just absolutely love it. I love Drew Barrymore. I wish that she was in the movie longer. I'm glad that she's not. I'm glad that that happened where she's the first one to die. Well, I guess not technically the first one. Her boyfriend's the first one to die. But she doesn't make it out.
Right.
And I think that was really interesting to just jump into it like that. Like it's a couple minutes in and someone's already dead.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really good. The whole I love the whole this isn't how my movie's gonna go. And the girl literally says it at the end of not in my movie. I love that.
The
I love
self-awareness.
Yeah, I love that they're pick on the fact that there's so many tropes that probably shouldn't be a trope in this genre, and they pick on those without very obviously picking on them. They do it so perfectly that it's
Scream 5,
Mhm.
that whole movie is that.
Yeah.
Is picking on itself.
Yep.
It's picking on the Scream franchise.
Yeah. Yep. I thought it was
beautiful.
really good. I kind of already knew the killers because the internet doesn't let anyone have anything.
Well, yeah.
So I already knew who it was gonna be.
I mean, it is like 30 years old,
Mhm.
so.
Yeah. And so, but it's still like it was still so good. Even knowing how it was gonna end, I was still like, this is so good. Like, there wasn't an actor or actress in there that I was like, they're really bad. Because I feel like every one of them, even if everyone else is good, someone's just bad. Everyone was good in this movie. It was all so good.
Mm-hmm.
I loved this movie so much. Let's see, what are some other parts that I just thought? I don't know. I just thought it was good. I feel like, and it's gonna hold up really well too. It's another thing with some of these slashes is like the special effects or whatever something eventually isn't gonna hold up.
Right.
This is gonna hold up for a while, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's really good.
I know, especially when it came out, the biggest thing was that plot twist with it being Sydney's boyfriend and best friend and all that. Yeah.
Yep. I liked all the characters too.
Right.
And it's not that I was.
You didn't want them to be anybody. You're just no, stop it.
Yeah. And it's like I wasn't necessarily rooting or not rooting for anyone. Like it was, I cared about every character in there, and there was at all points I was like, "You're a good character," and it's like it's just good. It was just so good. And I feel like they did a really good job at making the characters that you weren't supposed to like unlikable, and they had the good dynamics. Like the reporter was getting on my nerves, but at the end, I still liked the character.
Right, and they did it. They misled you in such a way where you're like, it's that person, it's that person, it's that person. Oh,
yep,
no,
yeah.
Just
like
kidding.
I watched it with my brother, and like he went through such a journey of like maybe it's that one, maybe it's that one, maybe it's that one, and like technically got him right a couple times, but there were so many things like it could be any one of these people.
I love the movies where you're just sitting there and you're like, it's that person, and then you go, and you were right, but you second guessed yourself so much.
Yeah. I really like Scream, and I'm probably gonna watch it again.
No,
soon.
you're gonna watch the second one and the third one.
Okay,
and the
I need to keep watching it before I go back to the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta watch the whole franchise, including this series. Even though the first few seasons are way better than that last one, but I think it's because they went such a different direction with it.
Yep.
I have a whole soapbox.
Yeah.
Scream and Kevin Williamson are like my favorite thing
Yep.
on the planet.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it. I liked all the everything. Everything. Just all of it.
All of the everything.
All of the everything.
Fun fact, this next movie, which is also at the bottom of my list, just so happens to have Jamie Lee Curtis as the leading lady.
Yep.
It's Prom Night. It's essentially just Nightmare on Elm Street mixed with Carrie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so like the one of the kids dies because they're like it's a very confusing ending, and I had a lot of hope for it, but it was not very good.
Yeah.
Because it's just like there was no substance. Like it had a good idea, it just didn't do it. But one of the kids dies, and then they flash forward, which why is it a constant like this happened 6 years ago?
Yeah. Right.
Literally every single movie I watched, I'm pretty sure did that. But then it was like 6 years later, and it's these same kids who were in that situation all grown up. And then it's prom night, and the one sister is gonna be this girl died. Her older sister is gonna be prom queen. Her brother is the DJ at the dance.
Okay.
The kid who was in on this girl dying, but wanted to tell people, feels really guilty. So now he's dating the older sister and is prom king and is trying to make up for being responsible. He wasn't responsible.
Yeah,
he
but
genuinely.
he felt it.
It was an accident, but they didn't. Like he was like, we need to tell someone, and the one girl's like, no. We tell them we'll go to jail. You're 6. You're not gonna go to jail. It was an accident. They will, but they wrote it off as an essay thing. Like the old creeper down the street got her.
Yeah.
And so they him. But then so then that's like the dynamic, and then these are the popular girls, and I was so mad because the one character that I actually genuinely liked got killed.
Of course.
And like she was so pretty too. Yeah, I was just very disappointed. But it was just essentially on prom night, the killer decides to get his revenge because it's the anniversary of the death, and and then they kill everyone. A lot of people's heads just roll down in front of everyone. Like, everyone could have got out of there alive if they were just a little smarter. Like, the one girl was by herself in the bathroom, and instead of going outside or going back to the dance, she went further into the school to go and hide from the killer. Like, go back to the dance. The killer's not going to kill you in front of everyone.
Yeah, right.
Like, okay,
don't
whatever.
get yourself by yourself.
Yeah,
like,
she ended up getting killed on, like, the third floor storage closet. Like, ma'am, nobody's ever even going to find you.
Yeah, you're just going to be chilling there until someone smells you.
Yeah, basically. So then the only people who survive is obviously Jamie Lee Curtis's character.
Right.
And then the boyfriend.
Okay.
And, like, actually, most people, like, the target was that group of kids that was there. There was 3 girls and then him. And they essentially were pulling a prank because they're playing hide-and-seek in an abandoned building. And then she wanted to play too, and they didn't want her to play because she wasn't cool enough to play with them. So then they bullied her. Yeah. And they were, like, kind of pulling a prank on her. Yeah. And she backed herself out a window off the 4th floor.
Okay.
So, like, it was entirely an accident.
Right, yeah.
It could have been avoided, but, like, nobody was really at fault.
Yeah.
Except for the fact they didn't tell anyone.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, that was where the issue was. But, yeah, it turned out it was the brother that was killing him because he watched her fall from the window.
Oh, okay.
Because he was supposed to go home. So, like, at the beginning, you see him walk off to go home.
Right.
But he never went home. He watched her fall. So
okay.
He knew who did it, and that's why he was targeting those specific people.
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
He killed a couple extra people because, like,
why not?
Like the boyfriend, got beat up by so the mean girl paired up with the mean dudes, and they were gonna pull a prank on them.
So carry.
Yeah, they were gonna carry them. It's basically, actually, though. Yeah. And what they did is they switched him out, and beat the crap out of him, so he was unconscious in a corner. So this guy got decapitated. Oh, because but he kind of deserved it. He was he was icky and mean and had a unibrow. Like, I don't know why they gave him a unibrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just like it had a plot, but, like, they did not execute it well.
Yeah, so it was one of those good idea, poor execution.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It could have been good if it would have been less Carrie and a little more its own idea.
Yeah. You want me to talk about My Bloody Valentine now?
Yes.
Because that's the next.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. It's still. You got to think about it. Of my list, this is the second to bottom, but it was still good.
Right.
In regards of Friday the 13th was negative 100 out of 10, and this is 7 out of 10. That's still pretty good. Right. I still liked it. I think the only one of the problems was, like, some of the acting is what got me off, because I know that it's a big trope or whatever, but sometimes the people screaming is just like, stop it. That's not how anyone actually ever screams at anything.
I get you there.
And then I kind of jokingly figured out the killer, like, really quickly.
They screamed it. Did you watch Scream beforehand or afterhand?
Scream was, like, the second one that I watched, so beforehand.
So you already figured it out because you watched Scream?
No, actually.
It's the same plot twist.
Yeah. Okay, it is. It is.
It's the same plot twist.
Right, but no, what it was is I was like, I wonder if it's him because he's, like, mad because his girlfriend likes someone else. And I was so that was the joke of, like, I know that that's not why he's killing people. But that was why I was like, maybe it's him because he's mad that, what's her name, Sarah?
Yeah, I don't
Sarah,
know.
likes
I think it was Sarah.
I think.
Okay, but Sarah and the other guy were dating.
Yeah.
And he got shipped off somewhere, and so she cheated.
No, he dipped.
Or whatever.
He left. I thought this was, like, your favorite movie.
I just know that he was out of the picture somehow. And then she started dating somebody else. Yeah. But he never broke up with her.
Yeah, okay, so what it was is they were dating, and then he just, like, skipped town, didn't say anything, because he was going to try to go make it on his own out there. Didn't say anything, so she was upset because he, like, left her without even saying bye. That's what that whole thing was, and so she started dating the friend or whatever. He comes back because he couldn't make it on his own. Came back to his hometown, worked his old job kind of thing.
They set it up to be him the whole time.
I also,
I was like, no, he's not going to die. They can't have him die, and then they faked it out, and I was like, my heart, because he was my favorite character.
Yeah. And
so I was rooting for him so hard.
Right. And so, like, he comes back and everything, and then the guy's mad because she still likes him because all of a sudden he's back. And, like,
Right.
they never actually broke up. He just left.
Right.
And so she's just bitter. That's all it is. She's
Yeah.
like, and they have a conversation, and she's like, you just left me without saying anything. And so, like, they make
It's
up.
very Grease-like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And so they're kind of back together. And so at first I was like, maybe he's just, like, killing everyone because he's mad because his girlfriend likes
Right.
her ex still or something.
I can't remember what the actual reason was. Was he, like, related to the person?
Okay, so the original killer, I think his name was, like, Harry.
Yeah,
something like that. He came back and killed the 2 miners who left them to die. And one of the miners that he came back to kill was his dad. It was, like, the anniversary of his dad's death
Gotcha.
on Valentine's Day.
Gotcha.
And so he was going around killing people.
Because I was like, he was related to somebody. I just couldn't figure out who.
Yeah, it was one of the people that the guy came back to kill.
Right.
Because it was the 2 miners that were ready to go to the dance, because it's a big Valentine's Day dance.
Right.
They were ready to go to the dance, so they left a bunch of miners down there. Pretty much all of them died except for Harry. He went, like, crazy down there. And then whenever he got out, he was sent to, like, a hospital, got out the hospital, killed the 2 miners.
Right.
That's how that worked. And then he said, like, you can never have another Valentine's Day dance.
If you do, I'll come back.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
and so that's what everyone's thinking the
but
whole time as he comes
they
back.
knew, but the cop knew Harry was dead.
Yeah, it took him a little bit, though.
Because the cop was also there when that all went down, because it was his friends that were all being affected. Like, he was friends with Harry.
Yeah, and so, like, it was the one miner was what's-his-face's dad, and he was upset because he like, was in the room while his dad died.
Right.
And they
He
have,
watched it happen.
and there's, like, a frame of him, like, under the bed covered in blood as a kid, like, wide eyes and all that. So it, like, scarred him pretty bad. And then he,
so much that he aspired to do it again.
Yeah, exactly. And because, I mean, at the end of the movie, he's, like, going on this weird giggly thing about, like, Harry and I are coming back. We're going to get you. And he goes, Sarah, will you be my buddy Valentine? And then, like, the movie ends. And so he just kind of went crazy, and he escaped further into the mine.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that was as are their movies?
No.
Really?
They remade it. They made My Bloody Valentine 3D with Jensen Ackles and Kerr Smith.
Oh. Well, now I feel like I need to watch that
Yeah, I
version
really want
too.
to watch it, but not in 3D.
Yeah, not in 3D.
No, like, that would be horrific. Why would you do that? Because you know how in that one where it was constantly, like, the pickaxes and all that stuff were being thrown at you?
Yep.
Imagine that coming at you.
Yeah, I'd be like, whoa.
It would be like that one scene in Final Destination.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, so, I mean, it was still very good. It was
Right.
like some of the acting choices what was kind of like, also the accents, they sounded so Midwestern the whole time.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know where that came from, because not all of them sound like that. But the
Right.
main guy really...
So, I looked it up, and it says it's Canada's most beloved film.
Oh, so they're Canadian.
Yeah, but
That...
it was set in, like, California. It's not-
Yeah, well, I mean, he sounds...
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I still really liked it. And I think, because I like authentic reactions of, like, which I will get to with another film later, but I like whenever someone doesn't just sit there and stare and scream really
Right.
high-pitched.
And I don't think they didn't do that so
No,
much.
there wasn't that much. There's this one girl, it's the guy that had the mustache, the little curly mustache.
Yeah.
He dies, and it's his girlfriend. She did a really good job
Oh,
at, like,
just, like,
portraying the grief.
melting?
Yep, that was
Yeah.
good. That was like, that got up the rating quite a bit, just of her performance, of, like, how they had to carry her around, and she's just, like, flopping around, like, I can't do it anymore, I don't want to leave him. I was like, that's good.
See, that was one of the reasons I really liked the movie. It's more like that not nostalgia, but, like, I like classic movies. So it's like had all of the elements of, like, a good classic film. But then it was also supposed to be horror.
Yep.
So it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, even, like, there's this one where the guy with the mustache finds the 2 dead people before he gets killed, and he literally goes like that, and I was like, that's such a funny reaction. Like, why would he react? And I was like, you know what? I do the same thing. I find a dead body, and I'm like, oh, like, okay.
Well, I think what was supposed to be going through his head was, like, he wanted to have an audible reaction, but he was like, dead people, killer, cover my mouth so I don't have it.
Yeah.
Like,
But I just thought it was so funny. I was
Right.
like, I was like,
yeah, I get you.
yeah. So I thought that was funny. Yeah, no, I think there were some, like, really strong performances and stuff in that one, so I liked it.
I really like it. It's like that gothic romance instead of instead of it being like true and tried horror.
Yep. So yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I really like that one. That, like, it hits me in like the emotional part, not so much the like this is a good movie. It's like I get it.
Oh, I think one of the things, kind of remembering back, one of the things I didn't like so much is sometimes the fight choreography felt too choreographed. It felt slow and blocky.
But
that's
old movies are terrible with
right,
that.
yeah. But that's just something that, like, I had marked some points off for, is because there was somewhere it literally felt like they were doing it in slow motion, but it was not supposed to be slow motion.
They might have done it in slow motion.
It wasn't, though.
Oh, okay.
Because it wasn't. It was just,
like, they might have filmed it in slow and then sped it up in post.
And so, like, it just felt like they were sitting there thinking, oh, this one's next. Oh, this one's next. And so, like, it felt too acty.
The one scene, you were talking about it when you were talking about Friday the 13th, but the one scene where they're in the, like, bunks, and the suits come down, I loved that scene. I hated it because I didn't really want her to die.
Yeah.
I wanted it to, like, work out for him. I was kind of rooting for everyone in this one, too. But, like, I didn't want her to die, but I was like, that is such a unique way to have done that. Like, nobody else is going to do something like that.
Right, yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen a single movie do anything like that.
Right.
Candyman, okay. That one was actually surprisingly really, really good.
Okay.
So, I'm not going to do a synopsis of this one, but essentially it's kind of bringing awareness to how people treat people who live in the projects and stuff like that. Like, there's a lot of racial tension throughout the whole thing, and a lot of comments like, oh, the white girl got beat up, so now the cops are doing something about it. Like, and it's supposed to be done that way.
Yeah.
And it's like the girl who got beat up is like, oh, now you're going to do something because I'm the one that got beat up, not the two kids who got the other day.
Yep.
Like, yeah. So there's a lot of commentary on that, and that's a really good, solid subplot.
Yeah.
And the main plot of the movie is they're kind of researching the idea of Candyman and who he is and what he stands for. And they go to the projects to kind of get more information because this whole community is afraid to go out at night and to go by themselves anywhere because of Candyman.
Right, okay.
So he's like real, but she disbelieves in him. She's like, he's not real, it's just folklore. Ha ha ha. That gets you in trouble.
Yeah.
So then he comes to her and essentially manipulates her into joining him.
Oh. Okay.
By killing multiple people and then making it seem like she did it.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's a really good movie, and I remember watching it, but I never remembered, like, I didn't pay that close attention to it the first time I watched it, so I didn't remember any of it, and the stuff I did remember, it didn't actually happen in the movie, so I'm really confused about that, so I don't know if I maybe watched the second and third one, because there's 4.
Okay.
And I've seen the first one, and I've seen the last one, and I'll get to the last one in a second.
Yep.
But yeah, it's like this whole thing, and then there's this plot with like the baby gets kidnapped and like all sorts of stuff, and it's really, really good. The issue I have with the new one is it's supposed to be a sequel, and I didn't know that going in. I thought it was just a remake.
Okay.
But it's a sequel. However, they made the subplot about him and Candyman. And essentially what the main plot of the first one was is now the subplot, and the main plot is the racist commentary.
Okay.
And the don't be a bad person thing. And that's the issue I have with it, is like it was too focused on that and not on the thing. So then all of a sudden you're like you get to the last 30 minutes of the movie and you're like, oh, this is what they've been building up the whole time? Like, I didn't even know that that's what was going on. Because there was so much, like... But yeah, it just, like, that section of it, the part that was supposed to be the commentary, overshadowed the actual plot of the movie. And it made me very disappointed.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, the first way that they did it was more powerful and everything.
Yeah, I
and
think
like,
it was a lot more accepted, and it made people, like, go, oh, wait, that's what's happening? But now it's very... I didn't like it. Candyman's a good movie, and I'm gonna definitely watch the second two.
Cool.
The second two? I'm gonna watch the second and third one.
Yes.
And one of them takes place in New Orleans.
Oh, okay.
like Mardi Gras. Mardi
Yeah.
Gras for sure, but it's like,
Okay, cool.
yeah, I don't want to spoil the new Candyman because, like, I would totally absolutely spoil it, but it's only like a year old.
Right. Yeah.
So,
Bit too early to spoil it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't feel too bad spoiling a lot of these because they've like been out for so long.
Yeah.
It's like if you haven't seen them, like me, I would not have gotten mad if someone spoiled most of these because they've been out for so long. Like it's my fault I haven't seen them.
Yeah, but no, I definitely think the first one was really good, and the second one could have been good. They just, I think, they overshadowed the storyline for the
Right.
social line.
Right.
Is that the word I'm looking for?
I know what you mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I guess.
Sure. I've seen, I think the new one for sure. I've seen. I don't know if I've
This is
seen
the original.
Yeah, I don't know if I watched that one.
It was good. This was the one where, especially the end girl, it was very authentic.
I'm gonna look up the cast really quick.
Yeah.
But you can keep talking.
The end girl, like, again with the screams, like I can't stand the little high pitched. No one screams like this. She had like this like raw actual scream, and it wasn't one that I sat there and got annoyed at or something because this girl is screaming so much. I was like, I get that. A lot of the reactions were very real, and I really liked that. So I think that's one of the. I mean, it's got a lower rating than like Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer, but it's still really, really good, and I really liked it.
Shoot,
Leatherface is such a good artist. But how I just the one thing that got me was like there's this part where the one girl enters the house and she falls over it into this thing of just like chicken feathers and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And she just like lays in it.
She's like,
She's like, she doesn't get up, and she like sits there and stares around, and it's this like big montage of all Leatherface's beautiful artwork around this house, and then a chicken.
Me too.
And then it goes back to his art, and then there's a chicken, and then back to the art, and then there's a chicken, and she's just staring at this chicken laying in its feathers and bones and stuff like that, and then she like screams. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I didn't see this one, but I saw the second one.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was
second one.
This
was
one
really good too.
It didn't scare me, but this was one of the few of the movies like this that I've seen where I was like, the whole time.
Oh my gosh!
Like there were so many things that like I got sympathy pains with, and it was really interesting because I watched this on Amazon, and Amazon gives you that little like general trivia and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
So many interesting things about this movie. The fact that they filmed this in Texas during like a record high heat.
Right.
And they were miserable.
It's based off of actual thing that happened.
Yeah, and so like it's but the fact that like they had to act in this heat, they filmed for I think 4 weeks. It was supposed to be a 2-week filming, and they went on for like 4 weeks. But there was the scene because there's like a big dinner scene, and it's like super infamous and all that kind of stuff. And they were talking about how like one of the actors, like they were all going through some sanity slips. Because it was so absurdly hot. They had actual food out, and since they were sitting there doing like 16-hour filming days and stuff, the food would rot and make the whole room smell. And they were overheating so bad that they were like, and so like they were going through it. And the one actor confessed to like, I almost wanted to kill her actually for a second there. He was like, I was so in my head in this character and in this heat that I actually thought about killing the girl for a second. And so it's like,
so they were like,
yeah, they had to like reevaluate and stuff because it was not good for them.
Right.
But there are a lot of interesting little fun facts about the movie, and I have some like mad respect for the actors that were willing to do that.
Right.
I also thought it was super interesting because they were talking about the pay for two of them. Of like one girl got paid $700 and her co-star got paid like $800 for this movie.
I mean that makes sense.
Yeah, but it's still like, whoa, that's like nothing. For this, for what you're going through, that's like nothing.
Yeah, especially if you compare it to what they're making now.
Yep.
50,000, 250,000 an episode.
Right, which they had a crazy low budget too. Like there were very simple things that they wanted to do with the film that they couldn't. Like there was this, they had this concept for their house because there's a part where you see all these cars and stuff. And they're just kind of chilling in the backyard. It's like a hoarder's house, and cause that's kind of their thing.
I'm wondering if the one I saw was just a remake of that.
Maybe because there is a remake.
Everything you're talking about is identical to what I have seen.
Yep.
It's just those
not the same
actors
version.
are not the same.
Yep. But they wanted to have these cars, like, buried. And they couldn't because of a budget. And it's like, I'm guessing they couldn't mess up cars. They were, like, renting the cars or something. They didn't say details in those little synopsis thing. But it's like they wanted to have it, like, buried at different depths and stuff. And some of them, like, just antennas sticking out the ground and stuff like that.
That would have been fun.
Yeah, and it's like all these little details that they wanted to do, but they couldn't because it was low budget. But I think for how low the budget was, it was a really good movie. So I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I have that on a list, and I'm gonna sit down and like make sure I actually watch that version of it because I've seen it.
It's good. It's really genuinely good. But yeah, so I there was a couple things that were kind of like but overall it was a really good film, and I liked it.
So Intruder, if you look at the thumbnail of the movie, it's a major spoiler. It shows you who the killer is instantly.
Yep.
So basically, it's a grocery store. Crazy shit's going down. It was literally just, we're in this location and now we're all dying. Like there was no plot.
That's just the whole movie is just you're dying in a grocery store.
But I think it was more so the way that people were dying and the acting that put it so high on this scale. Right. Because each person had a character. Right. Even though it was such a small role, you knew and you got attached in that person in the 2 seconds they were on screen. You were like, I like that guy. Yeah. And now he's squished. Yeah. Yeah. So it was like a lot of that. The issue, like what I didn't like, is it was one of those where the wrong person got arrested for the crime. That's another thing, which I don't mind so much, because I'm going back to Candyman for a second, because I just remembered this. The ending of the new Candyman, amazing. Totally redeemed the whole film. Yeah. Like at that point I was like, I like this. Yeah. That was a good way to go with that. But up until that, I was just so disappointed in it. But then the ending happened and it was like, okay, cool. But yeah, this was another one of those where it's like the ending happens and you're like, why won't you just take 2 seconds to listen to what these people have to say? If you would have done that, then you know that this guy is the psychopath. The one, you know, that's been beaten to a pulp and is inside of the telephone. Like, you can't know. But, yeah, it was mainly just that there was no, like, theme, storyline. There was nothing that makes a movie a movie. It was just like, here's a bunch of characters, and here's a bad guy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it had a lot of potential. There was a lot of potential for that movie. It just didn't happen.
Didn't do it yet. Yeah.
That's all I have.
That's all you have on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was not one of my favorites. It was way lower on the list, and then I watched other ones, and I was like, yeah, well, this one's better than those ones.
Yeah. See, well, all I've got left is I Know What You Did Last Summer. I really liked it.
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, this was another one that I really, really liked.
This one is also Kevin Williamson.
Yeah. The only thing, it started slipping a little bit at the end. Yeah. We started getting to the moments where I was like, you're being stupid. You could have avoided that. Like, the one that stuck out a lot was they're, like, on the boat, and she, like, pops out, and he's right there, and she starts running around on the boat. It's like, that's not gonna help you. You're on a boat.
There's something about that scene. There was some crazy fun fact, like, they used real body parts or something like that. Okay. Like, there was something, like, really crazy about that scene specifically, and I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. But yeah, no, there was just some things where it's like, okay, you've been doing pretty good this whole time.
What are you doing, man?
Yeah. And so it kind of got to that point. But other than that, I really liked it. I think all the acting was good. I liked a lot of the I knew most of the actors in that show or that movie.
There's another one of that. There's a second one.
Yeah. There's like 3.
No, there's only 2.
There's more. There's a few. Because I looked at it, I liked the actors, I knew most of them and all that, and so like I was excited to that, and they lived up to it, you know, like they all did awesome. But yeah, that was another really good one. And I like that there was a lot plot-wise, because I think that's one of the problems with some of them, is it's literally just a killer.
There's 3.
3, that's what I thought. I knew that there was more than 2.
I didn't watch that one, but I've seen the first 2. Actually, maybe I did watch that one.
But yeah, it's like some of these, the entire point of the movie is just someone running around killing people. And that's not as interesting as having this plot with a bunch of backstory and, like, all the stuff and people trying to figure out things. And this one did really well, I think, with that. Because they have the whole thing with going back to the one guy's sister, and, you know, the one guy was actually the one going to talk to the sister all along, and, you know, there's all this interconnected stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they did really well with that.
I did see that one.
Yeah.
I've seen all of the summer. I know what you did last summers.
Yeah.
I think that's Kevin Williamson's goal when he writes these things. This is what has always been done, but how can I make this better? And you see that with Dawson's Creek. You see that with Scream. You see that with I Know What You Did Last Summer. We're going to see that with the new Scream movies, because he's really, really, really dedicated to this new one that's coming out. Well, this is also his farewell one.
Yeah.
So it makes sense why
going
he's
out with a bang kind of thing. Yeah.
I know he did Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
I never watched those.
Oh.
I don't know if I have no idea if that's one of those where he set out to do something different or what.
Well, it's really good. It's one of my favorite shows.
He likes to take the plot line and make it all the same, and then just change one detail that totally blows it out of pocket.
Yep. Yeah. He does it very well.
Yeah. Very, very well.
Yeah. So yeah, I really like that one too. That was number 2. I mean, it was literally Scream and then that.
Right.
So
He's
obviously he's doing
amazing.
something right. Yeah.
So Hell Knight's my next one. I gotta just set the tone for the whole movie.
Okay.
By showing you the opening clip.
Okay.
So mind you, this is 1981. So very, very shortly after Scream. This is what happens when you... Hold on, I need to figure out which one it is. It's this one. Okay. So this is what happens. You click the movie. You click play. That's genuinely... Like, I was like, okay, we're jumping in.
Yeah. Straight in.
Going for
no
it.
dipping your toe in the pool. You're full send, full dive. Cannonball.
So this one, it's that classic movie emo. the emotional, like it hits in such a it's not nostalgic, but it hits in that way where it's like comforting,
familiar, and
not so familiar, just
Okay.
more like safe,
Okay.
comforting.
Yeah, that's super safe and comforting feeling.
The opening, I was scared. Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, "What is happening?" But this one is frat house, sorority house. They're doing their final night, and so their final haze is to spend the night in this house where this family was murdered. And then plot twist: the president of the frat and sorority houses are gonna prank them the whole night and see who can last the longest to their prank war. So they put their 4 pledges in the house, lock it up. There's no way in, no way out.
Yeah.
If you try to get out over this fence, you'll be spiked. This is one of those movies where even the walking red flag redeems themselves.
Yeah.
Like he goes, he sees that there's a problem, instantly jerk mode is off and he becomes the hero.
Yeah.
He doesn't make it. Only one person makes it out. It's like a vampire movie. Like, it ends like a classic vampire movie. Like, the sun comes up and the bad guy disappeared. Like, he's dead. He doesn't, like a vampire, but he's dead. He's gone, and then it's just her alone.
Okay.
It does end like a vampire movie. It's kind of cool. Cool in that fact.
I like
but
it.
again, it ends with a freeze. And then a hold on the frozen screen, and the credits.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was so hoping that they'd all make it out alive. Like, I was hoping all 4 of them, and then the British girl, and so then I was like, oh, but she was so pretty. I was like, why you gotta kill the
pretty ones?
And she was smart, too. Like, she was that pretty, blonde, smart type. Like, they don't do them justice, usually.
Yeah.
But she was out, and then the walking red flag, here's the thing. I really, really, really had hope because the 3 that were left, the blonde dude, the black-haired dude, and the final girl, okay? Red flag, love interest, final girl. They were all there until the very last freaking second.
Oh, yeah.
And then all of a sudden...
Like, you think they're gonna make it.
Yeah,
and
you
then
think they're
all
gonna
just dead.
make it, and then she's the only one that makes it out.
Man.
It's like, why?
Yeah.
The other issue I had with it is it was all attractive people. Like, you're rooting for these attractive people. So you, except for the final girl. And but, like, it was like this group of attractive people, and so you're sitting there rooting for it, and they're about to make it, and then, the plot twist. Totally out of left field.
Oh.
Did not expect that.
Okay.
So he goes, and the guy tries to get the cops. The cops don't believe him because they're pulling pranks. They've been pulling pranks all night.
Right.
So he steals a bunch of guns from the police department, hops out the window, scales the building, and takes off running back to the house to save them.
This is
See?
the walking red flag guy.
Uh-huh.
I love him. Love him.
Exactly.
I love that.
Exactly. Okay, so he makes it back to the house. He finds an escape route. What he should have done, actually, I think the one guy's name was Chad. I can't remember fully.
Chad.
Pretty sure. Chad was in the
No
maze.
offense to Chads out there, but...
It's a name. They know it's a name. But he was in the maze, and he was right next to the key. And he could have got the key, unlocked it. They could have been out. But he didn't. It wasn't until the very end when she finally went through the maze. The acting was phenomenal too, which is crazy. But he finds a little chink in the fence, gets in, he's walking, and he gets attacked. Out the water attack.
Yep.
Beats him down, shoots him, kill him. He's dead. And he gets so excited. He comes strolling in. He bursts through the door, and they're like, "Oh, you're back! You're back!" And at this point, the love interest has gotten his leg mangled at some point.
Yeah.
And so she's like helping carrying him there. And he's like, come on, let's get out of here. I have a way to get out. Fucking and he's gone.
No.
There's 2 killers.
Oh.
There's 2 killers.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So then I was like, oh, okay. And then this is about the time that the other guy doesn't make it. So, like, I think what he does is she goes down the stairs to go check on him to make sure he's okay. And she gets to the gun, and then the second killer comes out. Yeah, but I was just like, oh, there's 2 of them.
Yep. So, like, Scream again. There's 2 of them.
But that one totally came out of left field.
Yeah.
Because the whole time you're just seeing one person following them.
Yep.
It's a POV, one person, and it seems like it's the same person, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, there's 2.
Right.
And the only reason you know there's 2 is because she's still being chased by one, and you can see the one that's chasing her, and the other one is still laying by the water. So he did get him.
Yeah.
There were 2 of them. Yeah. So that killed me. That one made me jump. That never happens.
Yeah.
I think it's shortly after Walking Red Flag gets yeeted.
Yeah.
They get back into the bedroom, they slam the door, and all of a sudden, I don't know where, he comes bursting through the door. Like, you saw it coming.
Yeah, but it's still...
But it just, the way it happened, you're like, oh, okay. When I was so emotionally invested, and I was like, come on, you guys got it. And I'm like, is this what it feels like to watch, like, is this how normal people feel to watch scary movies?
Yeah.
Because, like, my adrenaline was up, and I was just, like, so excited, and I was like, wow, this must be how people feel when they watch horror movies. I've never had that feeling in my entire life before.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
So that's how you know
scared
it's
all
a
the time.
good one.
Yeah. Well, there's only 2 that made me jump, and it was Friday 13th at the end with the boat scene.
That makes everybody jump even when you expect it.
Yeah, it's like literally because there's a loud noise, and it's like so calm, and then all of a sudden he's there. That's what got me. And then, I know what you did last summer. Literally the last scene with the coming out the shower thing.
Okay.
Again, just because all of a sudden there's something. It's a jump scare. It's gonna get you.
Yeah, no, that one, it was literally just the door. I don't know what it is, but I don't have like a physical reaction. Like, my blood doesn't get pumping. I don't have adrenaline reactions to movies. So the fact that I was like sitting there and I was like, I was like, wow.
Oh, I'm so reactive to movies. Like I get
react,
so in
especially when I start falling asleep and then there's a loud jump scare because I fall asleep to horror movies. That's how. That just puts it in perspective of how good a movie it was, and it wasn't scary. It was more just like you know in a video game when you're being chased by the bad guy and you have all that stress. It was kind of like that the whole time.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't like oh my gosh, like because you know when
I want to watch it.
In the video game you're like tense.
Yeah.
While you're stressed, this was just the.
Like yeah.
So I'm guessing that's what normal people feel like when they watch horror movies,
of.
But I don't.
I mean, I didn't for most of the ones that I watched, but I think it's just because of.
But I've seen everything.
Yeah, but other
I
types.
I watched
of
Child's Play too.
Yeah.
Terrible. Don't watch it. Don't watch it.
Okay.
It's bad.
All right.
That one's weird.
Okay.
But yeah, I've seen all sorts of things. Like I've watched Grave Encounters, I've watched Paranormal Activity, I've watched It, I've watched Insidious, I've watched.
I have opinions on It. I know that's not one of our.
We should do a whole video on
Yeah.
It because there's a lot that can go into that one.
I have very strong opinions on It, and I don't think it's what most people would think it would be my opinion.
And I've seen Carrie, and I've seen The Shining, and like that was one thing that Hell Night was very parallel to The Shining.
Okay.
In a couple scenes.
Okay.
Yeah, so like either someone was influenced there.
Right. Yeah.
Or both. I don't really know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just that one was a good movie.
Yeah. Nice.
Cool. I think that's the whole list.
Yeah, that's the whole list.
Cool.
We've given everyone our unsolicited opinions now
On movies that almost everyone has either. Well, my list nobody's watched.
Yeah,
your
yours
list
is a bit more out there. Mine is the basics.
A lot of mine were the Walmart version of horror movies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But you've already seen most of them, and
Yeah,
I've seen like
exactly.
literally none. So
like
this
we should just do a whole video going through a list of movies and whether
Yeah.
or not we've seen them.
Yeah. Right.
Like or maybe a stream. That might be a little more entertaining as a stream.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah. So
Cool.
hope you guys
Enjoyed.
liked our opinions. Let us know if you agree with us, or if you're
Yeah.
like, why would you say that about that movie? Let us know.
Yeah. Sorry for spoiling it.
Yeah. I'm not sorry.
I mean, my newest one was like 1984. So
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
haven't seen it,
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't hear about it because it's the Walmart version of a movie. Because it's literally Intruder. Like.
Yeah. But we also warned you guys. We
Yeah.
told you there would be spoilers. I don't know how else to talk about these without spoiling them.
Right.
Some of the stuff, it's like you've got to just say what happened.
Yeah. Well, especially to put in perspective of why you didn't like it so much.
Exactly. Yep. So, yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well,
See you next time.
thanks for watching.